what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Mad Hatter Radio, reporting live from the past of our manifested dreams. And this go around, I want to talk about Lindsey Lohan. So, actually, she's back into the controversy. She's back into headlines because she has spoken about the Me Too movement. Now, uh, I know a lot of people are going to be like, "Hey, man, why are we talking about Lindsay Lohan? She's dumb. She's a celebrity. She's a drunkie. She does a bunch of drugs. Who cares?" To that, I'd say you kind of have a point, but there's always a gray area. Am I like a super celebrity person? No. Is Hollywood Hollywood? Yeah, is Hollywood a weird place? Yeah, it is. Does that mean that everybody in Hollywood's a bad person? No. Does that mean that everybody in Hollywood doesn't have something to say or is that important in some sense? No. I think that these people have a sort of social intelligence, and I think that that's important to look into. And in Lindsay Lohan's instance, at one point in time, she did have a lot of power. And celebrities have access to public opinion. They can sway public opinion. That's why a lot of them end up becoming politicians and other influencers in that way. They're basically influencers. So yeah, you might not like it, but oh well. So basically, before I get into what the controversy is, I do want to talk about why it's important. Not necessarily that I talk about Lindsay Lohan, but why her statements are important in this particular instance. Even if you don't agree with her statements or they're offensive, her statements, there's truth in them. So I'll say that one more time. Even if you don't agree with what she has to say or her statements are offensive, there is still truth in them. And again, just to bring the point home, celebrities, they might not be book smart, they might not be, and a lot of them actually are, but they might not have common sense, whatever. They might not be smart in whatever sense, but they're still socially smart. And that sort of intelligence as human beings, as social creatures, still stands for something. So let's talk really quick about what the controversy is. So the controversy is that she has said that this whole Me Too movement makes women look weak. And before I have my response to this, I do just want to go through some of the things that she said. She also says that women take too long um, to report these crimes. So actually, let me get exactly what she said so I don't take her too much out of context. So she says, so they say, I'm going to link to this article in the description. This article says that she says her beef is when women take too long to come forward with their accusations. So if you break down that sentence, if you really break it down, she's not saying that women take too long. She's saying that her beef is with the women who do that. Now, I don't have the particular stats on that, so I can't really get too deep into that. I don't really know too much about that. But again, I'll get back to my rebuttal to some of her remarks. She says that some do it for attention, and she doesn't like that. And she did mention that she's probably going to regret this. Now, I don't know if she's really going to regret this. I think that the Twitter bullies and the Twitter mob is going to, attack her, and they're going to make her apologize. But I don't really think she's going to feel sorry for this because I think it did really come from, her heart. Now, I'm not saying that I care about her heart, I'm not saying I do or do not care about her heart. All I'm saying is I think that this is her truth, and there is some truth in that. Um, One of the things that another thing that she talked about previously was her support for Harvey Weinstein. She said that basically Harvey is a friend of hers, and she doesn't believe that he did it. Um, so again, let me pull up the actual quote on what she said. She said, "I feel very bad for Harvey Weinstein right now. I don't think it's right what's going on. He's never harmed me or done anything wrong to me, and we've done several movies together, so I think everyone needs to stop. I think it's wrong, so stand up." So, That's exactly what she said. And then my other kind of point that I want to kind of rebut in this whole situation is, the Twitter mob and the Twitter sphere, and how a lot of these people on social media are saying that, like, fake rape is not an issue. Um, and I say that because we're talking about the Me Too movement, and Me Too movement is, a lot of it is focused on Hollywood, but I think it's a movement overall because what happens in Hollywood tends to happen in other industries. And so I think that, we can look at all industries. And I think in a lot of different industries, there's this whole thing about how, like, no matter what, we should just um, believe a woman and we should never question her. And no matter what, a woman is always right. And obviously, I'll get into that. So let's go back to, her statement about women looking weak. Uh, I don't think that I think this movement overall is a good movement. I don't think that it makes women look weak overall. I think that it's important that we find justice. I mean, we do know we live in a country that has held women back. I mean, let's look at it like however you feel about feminism now and how far it's gone. Uh, for how long this country has been a country, women have been treated like shit, and they're finally trying to get some of that power back, and I think that that's fine. But what I do think makes women look weak are instances where, like, this Aziz Ansari situation, or where there was a situation where women were putting men's personal information out there for other people to access, and they were just accusing men, but there was no legal process of whether or not these men had actually done that. And I think that that's dangerous to kind of be doxing people like that and putting their information out there and putting them, basically out there to get hurt. Um, Especially if you're innocent, that's the whole thing. It's like that's why we have a justice system. Her statement about women taking too long, I think that's kind of bullcrap. Because a lot of times, I've been looking into a lot of these situations, and women have reported it in the past, but because in the past, again, partly because of how women were treated, people did not believe women. So they actually put in police reports. They said that, but people have to realize that when you do that, you put yourself out there to get ridiculed, and people look at you a certain way, and you might not be able to get a job, because guys are like, oh, well, she's gonna say rape whenever. Like, there's a lot of reasons why women don't make either come out up front, or or talk. Basically, there's a lot of reasons why women don't come out up front. But there are a lot of women who also do come out and say things, and people don't believe them. So I don't particularly agree with her statement there. Some do it for attention. Yes, I do agree with that. I agree that some. I don't think that most women do, but I think that there are some women out there. I mean, I'm gonna, again, in the description, I'm gonna link to a couple of stories that I have of women just in the past couple months, who are going through the court system and who have been accused or convicted of alleging fake rape, particularly against black men. Which is, one of the things I want to bring up about this is how I don't think that we're looking at this through. I think we're looking at it through a very narrow lens. Um, you don't hear a lot of this Me Too movement is white women. A lot of women of color are being left out of this discussion. A lot of people in the LGBTQ community are also being left out of this discussion. Um, and a lot of black men and men are also being left out of this discussion. Men, period. We forget that a lot of times when these fake rape allegations happen, who do they tend to be targeted toward? They're either targeted toward real and actual black men, or it's like some fake black man. Like, people make these fake allegations that a group of black, like, maybe they had a bad sexual experience. Maybe they had sex with somebody and they felt bad about it, so they said, "Oh, these black men raped me." That happens a lot too. So we're missing that aspect of this whole talk. So yeah, fake rape does happen, and I'm gonna bring up just two cases really quick. Um, so we have, which happened. This story happened June 19th, 2018. It's headline: Michigan woman who lied about being raped on college campus sentenced to jail. I'm just going to read the first few paragraphs. A Michigan woman who lied about being raped on her college campus was sentenced to jail. Was sentenced to jail time on Monday. Mary Zolkowski, 21, was sentenced to 45 days in jail after pleading guilty to fabricating a story about being sexually assaulted in a parking lot at Delta College in Bay County, uh, Michigan, I believe. Judge Joseph Sheeran, who also ordered the woman receive a mental health assessment, did not give Zolwowski credit for previous time served, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let me read one more article. I don't want to get into too many, but this is another one. This happened July 10th, 2018 in Clyde, New York. This is from the AP, the Associated Press. Police in upstate New York say a woman falsely accused someone of rape for not giving her a ride home. The Wayne County Sheriff's Office says 27-year-old Jessica Gallagher of Clyde was charged Sunday with false reporting of a crime. Deputies say Gallagher told police she was abducted by a man she met on a dating app before being blindfolded. Investigators say Gallagher later admitted she fabricated the story because she was angry at the man for refusing to give her a ride home. So, yes, fake rape allegations do happen, and I think that that's being left out of the discussion on Me Too. I think overall Me Too is a good thing, but I think that if we just take these blanket statements and these blanket ideas, and no matter what, women are right, and in any instance, if we say no matter what, well, anybody who's been victimized, any culture, like me as a black man, obviously we have been victimized in this country, but to say that like no matter what, just because it's a white guy speaking in a situation where there are black people, that no matter what that white person is right, or excuse me, that no matter what that white person is wrong and they have no say in the situation, that's not the right way to look at the situation because everything is a mutual yin yang situation. It's a mutual dualistic relationship. So we have to look at both sides. We have to listen to everybody. Everybody has a valid point, in my opinion. So overall, this is not to really talk about Lindsey Lohan. My beef is kind of with this whole social media thing, where social media has kind of turned into this mob mentality, where there's a lot of good things about it. There's a lot of democratic things about it, and there's a lot of good things where people who have been victimized in the past are actually finding a way to get justice. But a lot of times, like with anything can be used as a tool or a weapon. And a lot of times, Twitter and social media have become weaponized against people. And I think that we need to talk about that because I go on Twitter and I go there to actually like sometimes I'm done doing that like because I know it's over. You have to go to different places for this, but I go there to try to find like intellectual discussions. But it's just people on there like saying, "Oh, I don't like what this person has to say. They're stupid." Nobody really ever explains why. So I think it's unfortunate, but again, this is not a video about Lindsey Lohan. Really, it's about there's truth in Hollywood and these people who have this type of power in society. There's truth in what they have to say, and I think that we have to listen to her because I think that if you or if any of us had a friend that was accused of something of like this heinous, I think all of us would take a step back and be like, "Whoa, hold up! Like, is this true?" She might have, obviously she needed to, speak through her, PR person, but, she didn't, which is why I think that this came from the heart. And I think that, there's something important to take from this because there's some truth in what she said because it was unfiltered. So I want to leave that there. I want to thank everybody again for listening. And for those who have subscribed, for those who have not subscribed, please consider doing so and giving me a like, leaving a comment. I will try to get back to you on those. I know I don't get too many of those right now, but sometimes I do, and I try my best to get back to them. So again, thanks for checking in, and as always, stay woke.